think the best and most interesting would be Belize. Because when I went there, although I was not allowed to enter that place, but I was very close to that place and came to know about many stories. And the most fascinating one was 5% of population of Belize is Hindus, and they have Chhat Puja there. And they say the third wave went to USA, so actually migration of USA started from Mauritius and Belize and so on and so forth. So a lot of Indian roots out there. So that was the most fascinating part of the story. That so far away place in a country where it would be very difficult for some of us to actually place in the map of the world where exactly it is. So they were like locals, they eat maize. And if we only put grapes on the wall, so maybe they don't connect with us. So, if we want to turn them into our religion, so it would be difficult for them. Three things I always experiment with, like whenever I go to a new place, the first thing I do is I take a walking tour. And when you take a walking tour, you are introduced to certain things, and then you can pick and choose that what you want to do, what you don't want to do. The second places are the museums, the plethora of knowledge which is there in the museums. And thirdly, there are places which have been abandoned, like many of these countries, they don't have their own walls because all the gold have been transferred to reserves which are there in Europe or maybe America.
Hola y bienvenidos otra vez a mi canal de YouTube Español por Dentro, y como siempre estoy aquí con otro invitado muy especial en su casa. Es Lieutenant Colonel Vineet Kumar, y voy a darle las gracias e introducción porque él me ha invitado aquí en su casa tan bonita. Thank you so much, Mr. Vineet, for accommodating me for this interview.
I think I should be thanking you because I keep seeing your channel and keep seeing your videos. And I was always intrigued that will it be someday I would be out there on your channel, and here I am. So I think all gratitude to you. Thanks to you for getting me on board.
For me, it's an honor that I'm sitting with you. Lieutenant Colonel Vineet Kumar is a multifaceted person. He has requested that the title of Lieutenant Colonel won't be used for this interview because that sort of limits and actually it limits because he is someone who does a whole lot of things, and when I give the introduction you will soon get to know. Of course he knows a little bit of Spanish, but since not very proficient, so we will be doing this interview in English, but I'm sure that through this interview in English it will actually reach a lot more audience. And the reason why I'm here interviewing him for my Spanish channel is because of this wonderful book that he has written. It's called Mayan Routes, Indian Roots. It's a travelogue that I would request everyone to please buy a copy and read it. It seems a wonderful book, and when I read it I will give a review of this book as well. Firstly, thank you so much, Mr. Vineet, for giving me a copy of your book. Yeah, it seems wonderful. The cover is beautiful, wonderfully crafted, wonderfully created, and really some wonderful anecdotes you will be able to find in this book, which will, I think, for an Indian, it will enrich the knowledge of South America, because not a lot of Indians travel to South America, and I'm going to ask Mr. Vineet during the interview as well about the reasons for him to travel. So firstly, in such a beautiful setting that we are here at Mr. Vineet's residence. So Mr. Vineet, how are you doing?
I'm doing all great, and what a bright sunny morning after so much of rains. The sun is like bringing out good luck and good hope.
Absolutely, and we couldn't find a better day where it's not yet hot and we are still in the shade, but still in the open doing an interview. So let me just briefly go through the multifaceted and multi-talented Mr. Vineet's profile. While I was going through trying to create a profile, create an introduction for Mr. Vineet, it really was very difficult because he has done so many things at various points of time in his life that to just sum it up in a couple of minutes would be grossly unfair, but in the interest of time I have had to do that. So let me give you a brief introduction of Mr. Vineet. An alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and certified independent director from KPMG, Lieutenant Colonel Vineet Kumar holds degrees from Jawaharlal Nehru University and multiple universities in defense management, IT and yoga. A seasoned instructor at the Center for United Nations Peacekeeping, he has trained officers from over 50 countries and served at elite institutions like Siachen Battle School and Infantry School Mahao. Am I pronouncing it?
Yeah, it's Mao. It's
Mao.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
RYT 500 yoga trainer and DGCS certified drone pilot. He's also an actor trained at the National School of Drama, featuring in Regiment Diaries. A multilingual author, traveler, and motivational speaker. He's a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and I am a Young Alumni Achiever nominee 2025. Let me tell you, this is just very briefly put up. If you go through his profile on LinkedIn or on social media, you'll find a lot more of his achievements, and I request you to please do that, because that's when you realize truly the potential that the person with whom I'm sitting has. And of course, today we are going to talk about specifically for my Spanish channel, it's about this book. I would once again like to show you this book that Mr. Vineet has written, Mayan Routes, Indian Roots, a geopolitical travelogue through Central America and tracing its connections to India. Remember, Mayan Routes with the R-O-U-T-E-S and Indian Roots with R-O-O-T-S. It's something that can be a fascinating material for a research scholar, for a lover of Latin America, and generally for a travelogue person, because of the different anecdotes that you will find in this book. And we're going to talk a little bit about this book with Mr. Vineet. Firstly, Mr. Vineet, let me ask you, what was the reason and the motivation for you to write this book?
So see, I always used to travel, and I used to travel wide and far. Like before this, I have been to South America, and this trip was to Central America. But in those times, we were allowed to be on LinkedIn and Facebook. But suddenly there was some restrictions that you're not there on LinkedIn and Facebook. You're doing your travels, but you're not able to tell the world what you're doing. So some of my friends came up with this idea that you're not sharing your travel stories now. So you do one thing, you start writing them down somewhere, and someday you just convert them into a book. So that is how this happened. So as they say, when they close the door, many other opens up. So this is the classical example when government orders were there not to use certain platform. So a new platform came, and that's how this book.
Fantastic. And if I ask you specifically that during your journey through Central America and writing about this book, so at what point did you realize that there was a story connecting the Mayan civilization to Indian heritage?
So see, I always knew that there is a story that connects Mayan civilization and Indian heritage. If we can take the word Mayans, so for example, take world as an example. We all stay in a world which is round, a globe, and if you start piercing pencil through India, it touches the core of the earth, and it comes out from Mexico, and Mexico is diagrammatically opposite of India on the globe. And they do believe in underworld, and their Raja or king of underworld is Indra. And we do believe in underworld, and in our underworld stories, the people who are there are Mayavi Danavs. So we all are interconnected. How to find the connection? But why it turned out into the book is when I was traveling from Mexico to Belize, and then there was a setback. I was not allowed entry because of some documents which were not complete. So I'm coming back to Mexico, and there I am seated in a place called Cancun, which happens to be the party capital of the world, that part of the world. And there I am thinking, why the setback? And then I had certain setbacks in my life. So I thought there have been setbacks in my life. There has been some setbacks in the journey. So in life, I was not sure what to do. In this journey, I was not sure what to do, because getting turned back from a country, and there are 7 more countries to go. So do you embark upon the journey, or do you just go back to India, the safer heaven? So that was the point. And coincidentally, I was reading a book called Watershed, and watershed moment of my life, watershed moment of my journey. So I thought I'll do certain things today, and that will decide whether this journey turns out to be a book or not. So that's the story. So that's how it turned out to be a book, and it is right in front of you to understand.
Fascinating connection that you make with India and Latin America, Central America to be more precise. And how did your background, Mr. Vineet, as an army officer, as a UN peacekeeping trainer and traveler, shaped the way you approached while writing this, travel memoir and exploring cultural and geographical links? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always say that anything and everything that has happened in my life is because of the armed forces. So for the first time I boarded a train with had air-conditioned coaches was because of armed forces when I went to National Defence Academy. That was the first time we were authorized to travel in a AC coach. We come from a very humble background, so not much of money to travel in air-conditioned coaches. First time I flew was when I got commissioned as an officer, that got authorized to us and we traveled. And first time I went abroad because of army when I was serving United Nations in Congo, United Nations in Congo and Rwanda.
Right.
So that is how it happened. And when I went there, I saw first thing, we were seated in the bus and we were looking at them and thinking how different they are. And you know what they were doing? So I come from a Sikh regiment, all of us with turbans and all with big mustaches and beard, all tucked very well. And they were looking at us and they were thinking, they must be thinking, this I realized later on, how different they are. And I was like, if first country, the reaction is this, so world is waiting to happen. So let's travel. And being in army, when they exposed us to travels, from Africa, it was easier to travel to many parts of the world. So the first part of the world that I decided to travel was South America because it was so far. Hardly anyone used to go. The common practice was to go to Europe and do countries in Africa only. And when I went to South America, I somehow fell in love with that part of the world. And then I decided I'll do that again. And I did that again a couple of years back. And that turned out to be into a story not only of my life but also a travelogue. So although it's a geopolitical travelogue, but it is also a story about how you travel within. And once you read the book, you'll find out it is journey both within and without. Beautifully.
Now I would like to ask you that since your travel consisted of countries like Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica and Panama, all these countries that you have traveled and you have covered in this book. So which country, which place did surprise you the most, especially in terms of seeing the Indian roots, as you have very rightly mentioned in your title, or resonances. Can you share one or two such moments or anecdotes with us?
I think the best and most interesting would be Belize. Because when I went there, although I was not allowed to enter that place, but I was very close to that place and came to know about many stories. And the most fascinating one was 5% of population of Belize is Hindus, and they have Chhat Puja there. The Bhojpuri pop is very famous out there.
Okay.
So I was wondering, such far away place, how come so many Indians are here? And then I came across this story of famine in Bihar in 1870s, 1880s. And because of the famine situation, the people in search for some kind of employment, they walked alongside the Ganges, Ganga river, and came to Calcutta. And they started doing work of laborers and porters at the Calcutta port. And this was the time when Britishers were expanding. They wanted more and more people for, indentured laborers in, at that point of time, Mauritius. So they made an offer to these guys that if you sign a document, government permit, and locals from that part of the world, they could not have the correct pronunciation of government permit, so they used to say girmits. And they said, okay, fine, we will sign the girmit and we'll go to Mauritius and for a free passage back to India. But when they went there and they were very happy about that place, so some of them stayed. So Britishers made an offer again that we are in Honduras also. At that point of time, Belize was British Honduras. So do you want to go there also? So some of them signed that government permit again. So Girmitia's first wave went to Mauritius, second wave went to Belize, and they say the third wave went to USA. So actually migration of USA started from Mauritius and Belize and so on and so forth. So a lot of Indian roots out there. So that was the most fascinating part of the story. That's so far away place in a country where it would be very difficult for some of us to actually place in the map of the world where exactly it is. You find Indian diaspora and so rich history and culture. And I am from Bihar, the northern part of Bihar. So to find a little bit of Bihar in Belize was very surprising, very surprising.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, a lot of the Caribbean nations like Jamaica, and, Suriname, Trinidad. They have a lot of influence of Bhojpuri because of the migration that happened all those centuries ago. That's fantastic, Mr. Vineet. And so what kinds of evidence, maybe archaeological or linguistic, or maybe philosophical or mythological even, do you find most convincing in drawing the parallels between Mayan culture and Indian traditions? Also, I mean, were there areas where you found the connections a little weak or maybe imaginary or speculative?
So you see connections like adaptations I found very strong. Like if we talk about the churches out there, so generally the churches, at the facade you will see they make something related to grapes and wines and things like that. But there I saw they have made maize on the wall, and I was intrigued that why maize has been drawn out here. I have never seen anywhere that a church wall would have maize instead of grapes. So I asked someone that one wall you have maize, one wall you have grapes, why so? So they were like, locals, they eat maize, and if we only put grapes on the wall, so maybe they don't connect with us. So if we want to turn them into our religion, so it would be difficult for them. And then it got me back to my country, when we were there a long time back, and the people from animalistic beliefs were there. So we used to say that, our God, like Lord Shiva, the snake is the garland of his. And then all the people who used to worship snake used to become part of that way of life. So hence and so forth, all the animals, they became koi savari of God, some ride of God, and some way associated with God, so that all the people who were actually following that animalistic belief, they also become part of the religion. So the kind of adaptation I saw there, and the kind of adaptation that is found in our country, that was very similar. And so far away places, things are so similar, so it was very interesting. So I have tried to exploit those in form of some of those stories as we go ahead.
Fascinating, Mr. Vineet. And when you write about such cross-cultural connections, how do you balance, the respect for local histories with the desire to find something universal or shared threads between civilizations? So how did you manage that?
There are 2-3 things I always experiment with. Like whenever I go to a new place, the first thing I do is I take a walking tour. And when you take a walking tour, you are introduced to certain things, and then you can pick and choose that what you want to do, what you don't want to do. The second places are the museums, the plethora of knowledge which is there in the museums. And thirdly, there are places which have been abandoned. Like many of these countries, they don't have their own vaults because all the gold have been transferred to reserves which are there in Europe or maybe Americas and things like that. So those places which held a significant role in their maybe ecosystem, economics or social life, they are no more there. So you were able to visit those places also, and all the things are ticketed. So you know what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do. And then there were many cultural exchanges. Like I took dance classes. I wanted to understand the difference between they teach bachata there and maybe bachata here, and how salsa is different from jive and cha-cha-cha, although both of them are 4-beat songs. So those kind of things, I wanted to exploit, and I was able to exploit, and I must say that I have been pretty successful in that.
Wow.
I was surprised at every step to find slogans of Mahatma Gandhi written at museum, National Museum of Honduras, that this world is not in inheritance from your ancestors, but it is on loan from your kids. Those things, those core values you could find everywhere. So that was the beauty of the travel.
Wow. I must say to my audience that I'm enjoying this interview with Mr. Vineet, because after in each and every answer, I'm getting to sort of explore a new facet of my guest here. You just told me that you dabbled at dancing as well, and something that not a lot of people do that because of inhibitions or any other kind of maybe dislike towards certain things. But you are really open to exploring each and every aspect of the culture of that region. So that's fantastic, Mr. Vineet.
And it's a great icebreaker. If you can dance and you can swing and you can jive, so it's a great icebreaker. And karaoke bars, to sing a Spanish song is difficult, but to dance, four
dance.
beats. Most of the songs in this world are 4 beats.
Yeah.
Very few of them are 3-beat songs. So waltz you can do, you cannot do, so that's okay. But 90% of song 4-beat or 2-beat, and 1-2 dance form, and you can dance with them. So amazing, why not?
Well, that's why I said right at the beginning, I'm with a multifaceted and a multi-talented person here. So I think one lesson for all of us here who is watching this video is don't hold yourself back from doing what you want to do in life. So I think it's a very symbolic example in front of us. So going ahead with the interview, Mr. Vineet, so were there challenges, be it say logistical, maybe cultural or even political for that matter, that you faced while traveling through Central America for this project of writing this book? And if there were, how did you navigate through those challenges, especially as someone coming from India?
I would say diplomatic challenges, because now you see what is happening. So all the countries in Central America were ruled by Spanish, so they have certain set of rules. Belize, which was British Honduras, ruled by British, certain set of rules. And I thought that the fine lines would be the same, visa processes would be the same. But when I actually reached the border of Belize, I realized no, there was one document which was missing from my set of documents, and because of which I could not enter. So once you are turned back, what do you do? So classically, I come back to my army training. So army training teaches you that when you get lost in life or in jungle or in warfare, anywhere, so you always come back to your last known position, which is a stronghold of yours. So we work on the concept of stronghold. So I said, okay, fine, let's test it in the civil world, in the travel world. So I got lost at Belize. So my thing was that from Belize, should I continue to Guatemala? Should I go back to India? What should I do? Or should I abandon this trip? Should I continue? And if I have to continue, then what? So the last known position of mine was Cancun. It was a stronghold because I was staying at an Airbnb. That girl became a very good friend. I called her up. She said, you are welcome any given point of time. Home is yours. So, stronghold, you have safety, security, the sense of belongingness. So I decided, okay, fine. So let's go back there where you are safe, you know your position. International airport, you have multiple options, you can fly anywhere. And then you do your SWOT analysis, again taught by army, your strength, weaknesses of each and every plan, opportunities that are there and threats that might manifest if you don't do certain things. And then when I could put them on paper, I knew what I had to do. So maybe rest for 3 days, when tides are high, lie low, and then you go back on your plans. So I flew back to Guatemala, leaving the time of Belize, and spent that time in Cancun consolidating my things, because there were financial losses, a lot of cancellations. So when you're traveling alone, your own an army, your own financial advisor, your own paramedic, your own strategist and diplomat and politician, everything is you and you only.
Right.
So good to be one man army at times, and that opens up new layers which are within you. You were never aware that you could do that, but once you are there and you're doing that, so self-awareness increases a lot.
Fantastic.
Yes.
It's great that the learning that you got at the army, you're able to apply it practically in life.
Exactly.
And I think that's the beauty of army life. And for someone, a civilian like me, to hear all these
we all
these
are soldiers.
incidents,
We all are soldiers. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as civilians, I think no amount of respect to the army people is enough, actually, because of the way they are protecting our borders, on land, at sea, in the air. I think we should be grateful each and every day that we are able to live comfortably in a country like India, thanks to our soldiers. So thank you so much for that answer,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Vineet.
Yeah.
And how has this journey, the journey of traveling as well as writing, reshaped your understanding of identity, or maybe belonging, or your own roots? You talked about, going back to your roots of coming from Bihar.
Yeah.
Did it change your perspective on what, Indian heritage means in a global or even an ancient context?
Yeah, see, so multiple parts to the question. I will try and answer them one by one. So first thing is that how writing helps. Writing is magical. We think a lot, but even if you may think that doesn't work, at times you may think we have thought over it, but now again, if you're thinking about it, it is not there. It vanishes somewhere. Now words are magical. That's why when you write words, you have to spell them, and spell is the word for magic. So magic happens when you write. So when you actually write, you know what exactly you want, what exactly you are doing. And that's why in the world of manifestation also they say you write it down. It will manifest.
Yes.
Because once you write it down, you have already casted the spell. You have told the universe in those many words what exactly you want. And when I did that, I realized that it is very important to dream, it is very important to wander, but also it is very important always to come back to your roots. And that realization I had in Nicaragua. So there is this friend of mine with whom I was posted in Democratic Republic of Congo then.
Okay.
And there he was earning a lot. He was earning $10,000 with United Nations per month, and it's a huge amount of money. And in spite and despite being a soldier, I was just getting $2,500. And when I came to Nicaragua, I asked him, "You left your UN job?" And he said, "Yes, I had to." And I was like, "Why?" Well, because in UN you get only 30 days of leave, and every time you come back, at times you want to go on vacation. So in home you are spending around 10 days per year, and I was getting away from my roots. And one incident that triggered this was there was a wedding at his house, and very few relatives came because they said, "You never come in our function. How can we come in your function?" So then he talked about a research done in the European world where it is said that people from UN, when they go back, they die very soon because there is no social connect in society. Nobody recognizes them, and because of this, he decided to leave his well-paying UN job and got back to his roots. Then I realized that yes, we can travel, we can wander, we can dream, but we have to come back to the roots, because social connections are something which are very important in life, and without that to live, it's very difficult. Even if you earn a lot, you won't be there to enjoy it, maybe, in words of Ashkan sir.
Right. Very, very, very profound as well. And so, coming to the book now, so for readers who might be, a little skeptical or of drawing connections between these geographies that are so distant from each other in terms of distance and cultures, what would you say to validate or justify such an approach? Because there are always certain people who have an alternate history or an alternate story to tell. So how would you like to justify the reasons for you drawing parallels?
So I'll tell you one thing, like what you see in this book, what is there in the cover, don't judge it by the cover, because cover might be geopolitics and a travelogue. But if you go through the pictures and all, if you go through the stories, it's all about human stories and human connection. And it's story about human resilience. How do you come back in life every time you go down? What to do? I have also talked about, very successful people in life. They tend to go under certain bad phases of their life, and some of them, they do take extreme steps. What to do when you are faced with that? I come from a background where I have been trained in psychology. I happen to be a yoga instructor, and I also do pranic healing. So I understand those low phases of life and what happens then. Right. So there is a correlation. So Amli Jama, the cloth is of geopolitics and the travel, but the skeleton remains human stories and how to come back in life every time you go down. So I think it will connect with each and every group. And to help them connect, there are many experiments we have done, like today's generation, they are used to reading mobiles. So all the sentences are this wide, so that the eyes are accustomed to read this kind of sentences. The paragraphs are not very long. So in WhatsApp, wherever there is read more, nobody reads more. So we have kept paragraph short, sub-paras are there. And after certain paras, there are, there are pictures. So the continuity in the story is there, and that kind of interest level is also there. And then in our times, we used to have pencils to underline and mark the book. Right. But nowadays, we have mobile phones. So we have embedded those pictures with QR code. You can scan that, and a video will play. The author is saying why the author is there, significance of that place, the history and things like that. So it goes like a journey. So the book has been designed in a manner that everyone identifies with it. So many experiments we have done. So go ahead and experience those experiences.
Absolutely. I think the fact that the author has made the effort to make it as reader friendly as possible.
Yes.
Will definitely help in terms of getting more readership as well. So once again, Mayan Routes, Indian Roots, this is the book. Please go and check it on online for, I think it's available on Amazon, am I right?
It's Amazon, Flipkart, Walnut Publishers, and
Right, so
everywhere.
a lot of platforms. I will provide the links for all these platforms in the description of this video. So please do check it out. Yeah. Now my next question to you, Mr. Vineet, is looking ahead after Mayan Routes, Indian Roots, are there other ancient civilizations or geographies you would like to investigate for similar cultural interlinks with India? Anything that you have planned for future to write?
See, a couple of things. I always wanted to write about Balkan states, because if you see the Macedonia is very typical. All the three tectonic plates, they meet under Macedonia. And if you see, all the problems of the world starts from Macedonia, be it Russia-Ottoman War of 1850s, or subsequent to that 1880s, 1870s, the Berlin Congress and Conference, one dealing with Africa, one dealing with Europe, and then leading it to Balkan Wars 1, 2, and then First World War, Second World War, and present day crisis following the Cold War era. So everything is right there. So that was the place I wanted to write first.
Okay.
But there were many authors who have written about that place already. So although my research is almost complete there, but I started with Central America. And when I started with Central America, I left at a place called Panama, which was not a country. It was part of Colombia. And just to make the canal, it was broken away and made a country. And that is the part of the world where a legendary figure started his journey, Mr. Simon Bolivar. And he led to independence of 6 countries. So if Mayan route continues down south, it would be La Ruta Bolivar. So I'm researching on that book. And if that route goes up north, you'll come across a big country called United States of America, which actually started from 13 colonies, and then those mountain ranges and plains, then again a different mountain range, and into the Pacific. So it's a fascinating story how those 13 stripes got converted into 50 stars. So that is also part of my research. So which one happens first? La Ruta Bolivar, or the stripes and the stars, or the Balkan story? We are yet to see.
Okay.
We are yet to see.
I mean, well, I wish you all the best for all the 3 projects that you have in mind.
Yes.
I would love that the Ruta Bolivar would be written, because it's related to Hispanic and the Spanish-speaking world. So maybe another interview will happen that time.
Yes. And presently I'm working on a book called Pili Dori in Black Tornado. What Pili Dori is the lanyard that we wear, that is yellow in color, and Black Tornado is Mumbai Attacks 26/11. So my unit was part of it, but somehow it got missed out from the historical records, because when we went there, the cameras were not there, and when we came out, the cameras had already gone. So something which is not seen, not written about much. So my endeavor is to bring out the side of the story which nobody knows. So whatever happens out of the 3 will definitely happen after 26/11. And I am very particular about the dates. Like this book was launched on 5th of May. You were asking when. Why so? Because the Mexican Empire got independence from the Second French Empire on 5th of May. Cinco de Mayo has a very great significance in their history, and 5th of May also happens to be my mother's birthday. So no other date could have been chosen to release this book. And to release the book on 26/11, I have chosen 26/11/26, because in my lifetime, only once this date will come, 26/11/26. So that's how. So I have to finish that book first. So working on that one, and then maybe subsequently I'll pick up one of them. Most of the research is done. Maybe I'll have to travel once more to these places before the book is being finalized. Great.
Fantastic. So I wish you all the best, Mr. Vineet. And I mean, the time has just flown. We have come towards the end of this interview. My last question to you is, what message or takeaway do you want your readers to take or to leave with after reading your book? How would you like this book to change the way people think about travel, culture, history, and connections, not just across South America, but maybe across other continents as well?
I want them to travel. I want them to travel because when you travel, you gain a lot of knowledge, and knowledge is power. And when you travel, you have to interact with people, and you have to read a lot of books. And reading books, interacting with people, and traveling, experiencing things actually gives you real knowledge. That's gonna stay. So right kind of education is things that you remember when you have forgotten everything, and when you travel you won't forget anything. That's my bet. So travel
Fantastic.
more, dream more, wander more, and whatever you do, you always come back home. So that's the message. Come back home. Come back home in the end.
Fantastic. Come back home. So that's the message. Once again, Mayan Routes, Indian Roots. That's the book written by Lieutenant Colonel Vineet Kumar.
Yes.
And I'm at his wonderful residence, at his unit, really soaking in the atmosphere. For me, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be in such a wonderful setting. And I would say that thanks to my YouTube channel, I've got this opportunity to meet Mr. Vineet and do this interview at his place. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Vineet, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on my channel.
Thank you so very much. I think I would say that pleasure is all mine because you gave me an opportunity to be on the channel which I have been, just following, and it's great to be here. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks to my audience for watching and listening to this wonderful interview. Until the next time, see you. Hasta pronto. Ciao.